Good morning, good people. This is your Poolproof Wisdom Moment for the first Monday in August 2021. I know we blinked, and just like that, another month has passed us by. When you think about it, let's take a little travel back to January of 2021. There was still a lot of hope within all of us that things would be better after 2020, which was, let's just call it what it was. It was a horrible year for many people for many reasons. We survived, but we had a lot of doubts. Our confidence in living the lives as we want to live them was shaken, and we didn't know really what to expect. But slowly throughout this year, we have eased back into some level of confidence. And to an extent, that's been good and that's been bad. Some people are incorrigible and continue to do the things which are going to ensure that it's going to be a long time coming before we really get our hands around dealing with this issue of this virus and controlling it to the extent that we can eradicate it. Others of us have embraced the necessity for wearing masks and wearing gloves and washing their hands or whatever it is that is being asked of us to make sure that we don't spread it, even if we're vaccinated. Because the fact is, a vaccination is not an indication that you will not get the virus, only that it will hopefully not be severe. But if you are immunocompromised, that becomes a different story altogether. I read with sadness recently back in my hometown of St. Louis, where someone who had had a heart transplant actually had been vaccinated, but was not able to survive once he was infected with the virus, even though his wife had been, because his immune system was so weakened that he just couldn't. So let's not take for granted that having this shot makes us perfectly safe, particularly again if you have a weakened immune system. Now, that said, also going back to January and February and so on, many of us set out and didn't necessarily make resolutions. I think coming off of 2020, people just didn't feel like making resolutions. All they wanted to do was simply live. I can understand that. I was among you. And so, as we lived, however, and we got a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more comfortable, we started making plans. And here we are, finding ourselves on August 1st. Question is, how many of those plans, those ideas, those indicators that you were using to determine that you were back on track with your life have you achieved? That's right. Think about it. Some of us have been more successful than others. I've done well in certain things. I've completely blown others, and it's okay. But I don't want you to get to the point where just because we've come off a really unusual, unprecedented, unusual year, and we're still in a space where so much is uncertain, that means that you are supposed to give up on trying to pursue the things that are important to you. Now, I don't care what area that falls into. Many of us are looking at work and measuring what it means to us today. 2020 taught us that work has to have a different meaning, a different purpose for many of us, and it is actually refreshing to see the direction that's leading some people. Others of us have looked at the relationships in our lives and tried to figure out, is this someone whose life I should be in, or is this someone who should be in my life? It has also made us stand up and take a look at ourselves, start looking at our health, to pay attention to what we're doing right, what we're not doing so well, what we're just doing outright wrong, and determine whether or not we're going to do something about it. Again, that's something I've been doing in 2021 myself. But as I sit and think about what life means to me today, on August 1st, 2021, I realize I've done well in some things, as I've said, but others I've just sucked at. And the key is not to let the fact that that's where you find yourself dictate how you're going to go forward. Yes, we're in the 8th month of the year, but we still have months ahead. And for that matter, any day that you get up and you have your abilities to move and think and do, you have an opportunity to move forward. What we mustn't do is settle on the idea that this is as good as it's going to get. Many of us do that because we just give up. We're tired. We've done the battling. We just figure this is the life that I'm going to leave. I'm supposed to be happy in it as it is. I say you don't have to. You have the right to choose to do so, but you don't have to. I want you to think, whether it's next month, the end of the year, a year from now, Anything that you want to do to improve your life, if you start right here, right now, a year from now, you will be in a position where hopefully you will have succeeded. But if you are looking forward a year from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, and all you've done is contended that it wasn't worth it, a year, a month, 3 months from now, you could be in an entirely different position where you realize that anything that you'd started, you might have been finished with. And that's important to remember because none of us can do anything that we hope for, anything that we dream of, unless we start. It's not so much about how difficult that journey is going to be. It's often just about getting the momentum necessary to start so that you can try. My mama used to always say, baby, nothing beats a trial but a try. And so when we try, we are making an effort. And when we're making an effort, interestingly, we can change things. But it begins with that decision. So on this August 1st, actually, you'll be seeing this on August 2nd, think about what you've tried and perhaps failed at. And instead of just shelving it, try again and keep trying until you succeed. Because for whatever period of time is going to come to pass, you want to be the person who looks back up on that passage of time and thinks about what you have done and not about what you could have done. And if you can do that, you will make a difference in your life that will ensure that you will be on the path that takes you exactly where you hope to go. That's your Poolproof Wisdom Moment for today. Find my podcast on Apple and Google, on Anchor.fm, on podcast platforms everywhere. And always, buy my audiobook, I Am My Own Cause, The Third Act, Surviving and Thriving, on Audible. And of course, you can find it in print versions on Amazon and online booksellers everywhere. Welcome to August, people. Let's rock it out.